I always bring this up as like, parents, they gave us birth, but they kind of feel, the expectation of feeling like we owe them our life is kind of unfair. Because if every generation just keeps thinking like that, then
I need two people to constantly mute the mics until they're about to talk. Serge and Julian, you guys are making so much noises. Like, it's so insane, dog. Like, I keep muting you guys, and you keep unmuting it. I mean, you keep, no, like, come on.
My bad. I'm literally like at the dinner table finishing up. Funniest thing, I'm finishing up my dad's business payroll. So it's funny that this question is what it is, but it's also my own question, because I wanted to get a lot of people's thoughts on it, because I actually found myself really going in depth with my aunt about this, like probably just about 2 weeks ago. So I myself am in business, and I like to just use the word business because I work with multiple businesses. But leaving high school, my parents, my whole dad's side, from my godfather to my brothers, uncles, aunts, they're RNs, they're doctors, they're everything medical. Literally, you probably can't name a position that I don't have a family member in. My mom, she has done everything under the moon. She was head of Mary Kay for years. She's had her own salon. She's done it all. She went back home. She lost it all. So now she's a pastor. So of course, when I was leaving high school, it was go the medical route, or at the end of the day, she didn't really care what I did, but she ultimately wants me to end up in the church. So for me, going to school, growing up, people would ask me what I wanted to be, and everyone says, oh, doctor, this and that. That was never my answer. I said, I want to be rich, but my version of rich and other people's are different. Mine of being rich is being able to live comfortably, not check to check. If like I have a family and kids, I want to be able, if like they need something, I can write a check, I can give them money, and we aren't worried about the lights turning off, the water getting cut, none of that. So it's funny because I went to school as a business management major. Obviously, within business, you'll learn every aspect of business. You'll learn accounting, finance, econ, it all. So it's funny because I left school and I wound up managing a restaurant and bar for about five years. And when I tell you that job fell into my lap, it did, but it also just helped me see what I'm really good at, managing people, making sure bills are paid, people are paid, the employees are kept happy, and I've since left that field, but I've entered IT. Now I'm managing development teams. So it's still along the same lines of management, but I never could have told you I'm gonna be managing IT while at the same time trying to now get ready to take over my dad's health business, while at the same time helping my mom out with her church. So trust me, I've had pressures growing up, and there was a point where I left school to come home to really help my mom with the church and everything like that. It was only supposed to be 1 year. Next thing I knew, it was 3. So then it began to weigh on me because African parents are always driving school. My thing was, Mom, I had just left school to come help you. So, I'm not just going to jump right back into school eventually. Yeah. So, but I had to try to, deal with seeing my peers get their degrees and continue on with like their own jobs and everything like that, to where it got to a point where I was like, damn, like did I mess up, or was it just not my road to drive down? My road might have a couple different turns, whereas theirs is just straight. And on that note, I will mute it before anyone else.
Anybody else want to share? Josh, you want to go? Kesso?
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Yeah, gentlemen.
Kesso, you muted yourself.
Okay, cool. For me, I was raised by a single mom. So, I always had this pressure on me of being perfect, I had to be perfect in school. I had to be, perfect in the way I behave, because I've seen my mom made so much sacrifices that I don't want to disappoint her at all. So I feel like the pressure has been good in some way, but also in some other ways, I feel like it has stopped me to actually think about what I really like, what I really want to do, because I always did what my mom wanted me to do because she thought that was going to be the only way for me to be successful, So it's challenging at times, but, I feel like now talking about myself, I'm trying to step away from that pressure and try to figure out what I really want to do with my life, So, yeah.
What do you do now?
I'm an accountant, but I don't like it.
What's crazy that was my first major.
Wow.
And I was just like, I figured they always make money, so I'm gonna be happy doing that.
Right. I mean, they make money, but I just don't see myself doing that for 20, 30 years, I don't want to be sitting at a desk and not have an impact in my community or, in the world or in my country or whatever it is, I want to be involved in something bigger than me, because I feel like I'm just sitting at a desk, crunching numbers, helping some authorities getting money. Like, it's not, I'm not, I don't know. It's just.
My pressure did not come from my parents. My pressure came from the rest of the family. Where being the firstborn, I think Kenneth is one that said he was the firstborn. But being the firstborn, and my dad is an architect back home. He's also an evangelist. My mom is a doctor. And everybody always thought, you know what? You need to take over for your father. I'm like, oh yeah? My dad is over here telling me, no, you do what you want to do. And I'm over here like, okay, but the whole family believes I need to take over for you, Pops. So I'm over here like, yes, I want to go to school for architecture. Mind you, I am the most unstable in terms of sitting down at the desk and doing anything, which is one of the things maybe that requires for you to do. That's just not it. And you could tell my dad knew something was not right, because he would tell me, he was like, are you sure this is what you want? I'm like, no, I'm sure. And I even came up with this plan, convinced myself, like, yes, I'm going to be an architect, and then I'm going to help Dad, and then we're going to be rich. I don't know, it was just like a dumb, childish, whatever thing. It was just like, felt like I had it figured out. Then I went to school and I realized that's for the birds. But then making that a reality of realizing, okay, for so long I've made myself believe this is what I want to do, because this is what family tells me I need to do, because I'm the firstborn. And the firstborn, what does he do? We have a saying in my language, says, And that's meaning basically that the firstborn is what was it? Firstborn is the same as
It's
the dad.
equal as a father.
Is equal to the father. There you go. So with that, it was always like, oh, I gotta step up to the plate and all this stuff. Realizing though later on that was not going to be my thing, and I decided to take a different path, which was join the military, because I realized, dude, like I'm wasting people's money. I got siblings after me. So I turn around and I tell my mom this. My mom looks at me like, what have we not given you? What have you lacked? You know, it was this feeling of complete failure as parents, you know. Like we have survived things in our lifetime for you to come to America and die in the military. Why? But that helped me realize what I wanted to do, and that what everybody else thought I should have done is not really for me. You know, and the problem with that, I feel like a lot of us end up wasting time doing things that fit in whoever's dream it is, whether it be our parents or family members, only to later on have somebody that has a biomedical engineering degree going to be a promoter because that's what they love. My guy, there was no reason for you to go get a biomedical engineering degree. You know, if that's what you truly like and that's what you're really good at. There was a guy I met the other day. He spent 20 years in a career he hated, only to just say screw it and start afresh.
That's ridiculous.
And no, for real. So, in a sense, the whole idea of your parents know what's good for you, or family, or because they see you as whatever, complete bullshit. Excuse my French. It's complete BS. And I don't know, man. To me, it's just later on you realize if you're not doing something for yourself, because believe it or not, your parents are gonna die, you know. And I hate to put it that way. And then you have to look at your life at that point and be like, okay, am I living this the way I want to live it, the way my old man or my lady wanted me to live? You know, at the end of the day, you're the one that has to deal with that part. You're the one that has to follow through with that part. But that's just my opinion.
Pascal.
Yeah, for me, I think, sometimes, when we analyze these things of our parents, telling us you have to do this, you have to be this, sometimes it's not them. And sometimes they do that, they think that they're doing better for ourselves. So, like to me, when I grow up, I used to be a really good soccer player. I used to play soccer when I was little. But my mom and my dad, they was just like, no, this is not good for the family. But so they wanted me to be a teacher. Just think about it. They wanted me to be a teacher, and I couldn't believe seeing myself teaching somebody, teaching someone. So, but when we moved from my country, from Rwanda, going to Zambia, I realized that actually, our parents really did not know any better. I found out that, my mom or my dad, the way they grow up, the life they had, the lack of education, they didn't know any better for it, And most of the time they would just, follow what is the community or the environment is telling them, or they'll look to one of their friends like, oh, his son is in, university, he's a professor or whatever, be like, okay, I want you to be like him. They didn't know any better. So when you grow up, you find out like, oh, I wanted to be this when I was little, and my parents, they want me to be this, and you find yourself you're in the middle, and you cannot just be, both at the same time. So you get confused, and that kind of affects you, talent-wise, and sometimes you cannot even be yourself anymore. You feel like you betrayed your family, you betrayed yourself. But I've realized that most of the time, really, our parents, they didn't know any better, and they thought they was doing better for ourselves. So that's what I think about it.
Ella.
My background is interior architecture and construction management. So my first degree was in interior architecture. And for me to actually do that, Joshua, anyways, for me to actually get to do that, I had to do a lot of convincing my dad because, I mean, you all know with African parents, it's, you know, you're either a doctor or an engineer. He wanted me to be an engineer. I don't know what sort, just an engineer, you know, whether it's electrical, mechanical. Huh? Yeah.
You said you must become a doctor.
I must be, exactly. You must become a doctor. You must become this. You must become that. And he used to tell me, because I said specifically interior architecture is what I wanted to do, not architecture. So he would say, oh, so you just want to go put up curtains in people's houses? I'm like, it's actually way more than that, you know? So like, because he's a scholar, I had to educate him on it. You know, I had to do research and teach him, okay, this is what it is. Like, I'm from Rwanda and nobody really does it in Rwanda. So eventually I convinced him and he started even applying for schools for me. So I did my interior design, interior architecture degree. But by the time I was done with it, I really didn't want to do it for a living. I worked in interior design for a year and I was convinced that's not what I wanted to do. But my dad in his head, he was ready to open a firm for me in Rwanda. He had signed me up for a master's degree here to do interior design because that was it. So now I come to him with my construction management. He's like, no, you're not doing that. Like, you've already convinced me on this one. Now you want to do something different, you know? So now I had to show him like how it's related and how this is more beneficial for me than the other one. And again, my dad is very hard-headed. I can just talk to him. So I had to write a 6-page essay to explain to him. Yes. Yeah, I had to write a paper, 6 pages, one after the other, pros and cons of me doing this master's in interior design versus master's in construction management. And then I sent it to him. He read it, sent it to the rest of my family. They all read it. And then he came to me and said, you know what, that's what you want to do, then do it. So I conquered the pressure. Yeah, that's my story. Yeah.
Well, thank God you had those 4 years of college to learn how to write essays.
Right.
Oh, Julian, what's your story, my guy?
Hey, my story is a very long story, but I'll keep it short. So I'll probably try to side a little bit with, if I believe, Pascal, because when I was very young, I was very good. I was good at being a defender. I was terrific. Pretty much, I love hurting people. So pretty much, playing football was the best thing. It's like defense was my thing. So my dad is the type of person, the only thing he believes in is education. Since he's the type of person that didn't go far in school and stuff. So he's like, okay, my child, you know, I'll send you to America. Okay, where you're gonna go to school and you're gonna do something nice. And I was all excited. Actually, I was not excited to come to America because my dream was to become a soccer player, not to come to America and find a job or go to school, because that was not my dream. So when I landed to America, a year, 2 years, I started doing some. I started majoring in business administration. And my dad called me. He was like, "Hey, Julian, how you doing?" I'm like, I'm good. He's like, "Someone just told me that you were really good at soccer." I'm like, "Duh." He's like, "But too bad. You're too old now. Like, you have to go to school." I'm like, "Okay, Dad, that's fine. I'll go to school." And I didn't tell him I was doing business administration. And one time I called my dad and I was like, "Dad, now I know what I want to do." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "Dad, I want to do business administration." His answer was, "When's the next flight back to Togo?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Business administration. I'm a businessman. You're studying business administration. You're doing just schoolwork. I can teach you field work. What is more important? It's field work. Son, come back home." I'm like, "No, Dad, I'll change my major. I'll do maybe IT or something else." So I ended up trying to do IT and stuff, but I saw like that. That's not my type of.
Let's say some reckless shit.
Someone else is talking.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So pretty much, when he told me that, and I was like, yo, this is not what I wanted to do. I went to IT and stuff. I took some classes, but pretty much, listen, being in front of a computer with glasses is not my type of thing. So I ended up taking one of this accounting class, and my professor was actually Chinese, and he was actually he was actually an investor for the Chinese government in the United States. So he was pretty much telling me, I don't know why he liked me, but pretty much he was just asking me every single accounting question. So he made me study. So I was like, okay, accounting is interesting. Stock market, all this thing is very interesting. So I ended up going for accounting and finance. After graduating and stuff, my dad was so proud. My son is in accounting and stuff and finance. That's nice. It sounds nice. I ended up doing it. I did it for, it's been 2020. It's been 5 years that I've been doing accounting and finance, but that's not my niche. Like, my niche is something else. I ended up trying something. I'm the type of person that like to do things with my hand, like construction, like pretty much like something I can do with my hand and I can see like the outcome. I'm not the type of person that can stay in the office for like 6 hours. It's like, that's my punishment. If you want to punish me, do that to me. So
you're
when I told him that,
you're living a punishment.
No, that's where I'm coming. So pretty much, when I went back home and I spoke to him, I was like, Dad, you know what? Accounting, I like doing it. It gives me like a broad view of everything of the business and stuff. But at the same time, I like getting my hands dirty. He was like, oh, you should have told me this. I would have loved to have you in construction. I was like, Dad, you wanted me to just take a ticket and go back home because you're a businessman. And then he was like, yeah, son, pretty much just do what you have to do, even though that's not what I wanted you to do, but just do what you have to do. As long as you like it, just go for it. So since then, I've decided to just focus on something else. I'm going back to school to go to get to go to school for construction. I'm talking to people regarding construction and stuff, so people will probably guide me in a better way on what major to actually apply for. But at the same time, I don't want to go for money. I don't want to go for anything. Money is good. It's nice. But at the same time, you want to do something you like, because something you like makes that a hobby, makes your job a hobby instead of being a job place. So as long as you get the opportunity to actually do what you like, you like the feeling is actually different. For example, when if I'm not mistaken, Pascal or who was talking about the guy that was working 20 years in the field that he didn't like, I will commit suicide. I will never do 20 years working with people like or doing something I don't like. So it's pretty tough. And sometimes African parents, the one thing that I can say about African parents, like imposing stuff to your kids is definitely wrong. Allowing your kid to grow and giving him the opportunity to do what he likes, even though what you're actually doing or what he actually saw you growing with is different from what he likes. Allow him to actually bring a connection. You know, for example, if I'm doing constructions right now, or I have a background in accounting, but at the same time, in some ways, I can assist my parents. But to them, it's more like, hey, no, my son, what I'm doing is what you have to do. You have to follow the bloodline. That's how it happens. But pretty much, the world is different. You have to allow your kids, and sometimes you can see some parents imposing things to you without actually trying to understand that they actually went through the same thing, because things were imposed to them. They're actually doing things they didn't like. So to them, it's more like, my dad told me this, I need to tell my son to do this. they don't have the time to process them, because you know how in Africa, when a dad is never wrong in Africa, or parents are never wrong in Africa, because after God, they are your second God on the planet, pretty much. So you have to actually follow what they're telling you, or if you go against them, by the guy, you're in trouble. So it's something that I think this generation is supposed to work on. Our generation is supposed to be the icebreaker. We're supposed to allow our kids to do what they like, and at the same time try to find a niche, like how to concord the same thing with what we're actually doing, or how we would like our kids to continue, like the whole thing, or the whole hustle we have started, without stopping them to pursue their dreams. You know, for example, if your son wants to do do something about liquor, and you're a restaurant owner, what you have to do, grow your business better. You're a dad. You have the money, you have the knowledge, you have the years. Grow your business, be better, be bigger, and then your son can open like his liquor or whatever thing he has in your store to make it actually huge. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I feel like African parents have to see their dreams and see their children's dream and combine it together to be to produce something more big, something a lot bigger. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to impose things to your kids, but you're supposed to listen to your kids.
That's big. Did everybody go?
I have a question though.
Hold on, let everybody go first, real quick. Let everybody go first now, my guy.
Go ahead.
No, in addition to
Nicole
didn't go. Nicole?
I was definitely not imposed to take my major or anything. I actually thought that my mom would do so when it was time to like pick a major after high school. I was expecting my mom to like actually do the whole thing and pick it for me, and then she was like, honey, you do this because you are the one who's gonna go through it, and I'm not gonna be the one studying for you. So you pick what you want and you go for it. Long story short, I went for architecture because that's what I wanted. After going to architecture school, is that what I want to do for the rest of my life? That's a question mark. But yeah.
So why did you choose architecture then?
I choose architecture because I was more of an artsy person, and you know, I visited a refugee camp one time that I visited my dad in Congo, and I saw how those refugees were like in very bad settlements, and I was like, oh, if I'm an architect, then I can actually help with better designs and help those poor people out there. But now that I work in the office and you have to design for people who are very picky and have a lot of money, and I'm just sitting here like questioning this whole thing, I guess it's just a path, and everybody has to go through it until we figure out really, really, really what we are really meant to do or meant for. So yeah. I totally agree that instead of going for money or what your parents want you to do, it's important to go back to what your passion is, because money can make you, stick to something, but your passion is going to help you run through it on a longer term. So.
That's deep. Josh, what was your question?
My question was, so I think it's safe to say that we've all been influenced in one way or another by question you're asking my parents and our careers. Knowing what we know now, what would you do different if 5 years ago, 6 years ago, even 7 years ago? Knowing what you know now about, and we're just thinking to this idea of, picking your career or the career you're already in, or the path you've decided to take, whichever you want to look at it. But turn the clock 7 years ago, knowing what you know now, what would you do different? And what would you like to pass on to your kids?
Knowing what I know now, I think I would have gone for a civil engineering degree instead of an interior architecture degree, because I'm more passionate about construction management than I am design stuff, because the design stuff is something that comes naturally to me. I wasted 5 years of my life in design school because it's a 5-year degree. And I could have used that time to get an engineering degree and then design for people on the side, because I really didn't need to go to school for that. So I would have definitely done a civil engineering degree instead.
I mean, I personally didn't have that, to answer your question, I didn't have that pressure from my parents to do this or that. I believe
career path.
It was easy for me. I mean, I grew up always wanting to do something in technology. I was that kid that my mom will always, everywhere she goes, my God, I gotta be behind her, because if she leaves me at home by myself, she knows what she's coming back to. Either the TV's unscrewed or the radio's unscrewed, man. Something is gonna be unscrewed, my guy. So she always dragged me along with her. So just growing up, I always wanted to do something in technology. So regardless of what, I just knew that that's where I would be. And as I, went through high school, college, I figured, man, listen, where the money at? I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of a little different. I want that money, dog. People talking about, oh, wake up, listen, give me that money, my guy. If I sit down, my guy,
I would like it.
I will find a way to like this thing. That's all I know. And if I know it, I will still find a way to like wake up and do it. Yeah, covering comes, I know I don't like it, but my guy, once you have the money in your pocket to do as you please, everything else is secondary. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? So, what I know now, what I know now that I would have done then. So I got a master's in information technology. I wouldn't have gone all the way to my master's. After my undergrad, I would have just started taking all this search, security plus. Man, I'm talking about search upon search, dog. Just not waste all that money on masters, because you go in, you apply for a job, you go in, they're not even asking you like your level of education, really. They start asking about all this different search, like, do you have this, do you have that? And you like, what did I go to school to get a master's for when they're asking me this or that? You know what I mean? So I'd have done that. That's one. Two, something that I try to tell all these high school kids, man, like, yo, son, take those AP classes, dog, because them John will come in handy when you go to college. If I listened to my counselors then, I would have taken enough AP classes. That way, when I went to college, it would have been a lot easier for me to go, navigate my way through. There's some AP classes count towards college credits, right? So I'd have probably graduated a lot earlier. But nah, totally disregarded all of that. Wanted to party, the DMV life, wanted to party and all whatnot, and just take regular classes. And I did that. Spent a little longer in college, but I mean, we're here now. No biggie, but that's what I've done a lot better. Oh, and internships, man. Like, do internships. I didn't do not one. So yeah, definitely do that. Those are things that I've ever done for me.
For me personally, I have actually mentored a few younger kids, and coming from this area, everyone's just so set into leaving high school and just going to a big four-year school and just spending a lot of money that they don't need to, a lot of loans that they don't need to. So I tell them now, stay home, do all of your English, your prereqs at home while it basically is almost free, and then transfer out, because a lot of times within those first year or two, that's when people are like still really trying to figure out what they want to do or what they want to study. So, for me personally, when I went to college, my freshman year was 25 grand, and I had about 20 grand in aid. But but I could have stayed home and went to MC and done that first year for about like 6-7 grand, and then transferred out once I had really known exactly what I wanted to do. Because it wasn't until maybe my junior year that like it really hit me that, oh, I'm good at, working with people, like really making sure everything gets done, managing and everything like that. But imagine it took me about 48, almost 50 grand to figure that out.
That's mad. The African dad would be like, my son, it took you this long to figure.
I don't understand what you said. What you meant by stay at home.
I mean,
as in go to a community college versus versus rushing to leave home and like leave the state for some people, because a lot of people leave college not even knowing about, hey, if like things go south here.
Oh man.
Yo, Serge is bugging.
Serge, you literally went south, my guy, like you said.
My brother, I cannot hear you.
I heard the first part. What Serge said was more like, I don't know if any of you heard it.
No, I mean, pretty much he just said that instead, like, he wish he didn't go burn 50,000, trying to figure out what he wanted. He could have just gone to a community college and figured it out there before moving to a foreign college.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's the number. If you allow me to talk, can I talk?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
That's Yo, Joshua, you looking for me? I swear, Joshua wants me. Joshua, you want me? Hey, yo, okay, can you tell me? Can you give me Joshua's address? I need to meet this guy. I need to fight him. Just a quick joke. All right, guys, just a quick joke. Pretty much what I wanted to give as an advice from someone that came to America without knowing anyone or without having any help from anyone. Every single person, if you come from Africa, there's one thing I want to tell you. Go to a community college and then transfer to a university. Because there's a lot of things, we make a lot of mistakes. This is the opportunity that we have to actually educate our people. When you come, you can apply for a university. My friend, don't waste your time. First of all, you're gonna waste your parents' money, and you're gonna waste yourself some time. Go to a community college, because at the same time, when you leave high school, you don't actually know what you want to do. There's just maybe 20% that leave high school that actually know what they want to do. The most important thing is go to a community college. It's diverse. The most important thing is you can take class from here, there, and there. But at the same time, you're going to find your niche. Your niche right there, you might find it. So that's the main thing I believe. I mean, me personally, you guys can challenge me regarding what I'm saying, but it's very much instead of us. For example, me, as an example, I wasted 5 years to know what I actually want. If I recap properly, Ella did the same thing. But with her having a community college, because community colleges are 2 years or 2 years and a half, something like that, instead of going to a 4-year college and actually ended up finding your niche in like 5 years, this is an opportunity for you to go to a community college. And actually, instead of wasting 5 years, you waste 2 and something. And by that time, you can actually know what you actually want. I don't know if I make sense for the like if I still make sense.
No, you do. You do.
That's the right thing. I will actually advise any person coming from Africa, because I like there's one thing, it's out of topic, but there's one thing I have to put out here. Many people that actually live here in America don't give a better advice or don't guide the people that actually come freshly from Africa to here. We are responsible for any other person or any of our youngies that come from Africa. We have to guide them. Like, there's so many things we know. There's so many things we actually lead. But let's not let them lead the same thing. Like, we have wasted 5 years. When we have a young person coming up, we have to tell them what life is all about, what we went through, so that they could know earlier in the early age. Once we do that, things will actually be a little better. We don't have to keep like the same thing going on and on. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm just, like I said, I'm going a little bit off topic, but I just wanted to put it out there. Any person that has a young person or young sibling coming up to the level, tell them to believe in their dreams. When you believe in your dreams, you can make it. Like people say, make money. Your dream can make you money. So the most important thing, make people believe in their dreams. Your dream can become a reality, and your reality can be what you're gonna use to feed yourself. That's pretty much what I had to say.
Some of these dreams, people need to wake up, though. I'm just saying. But,
hold on. That's a topic.
Joshua, I want you to add some accent to it.
Hold on. Hold on. On that note, man, let me flip. Let me switch topics here real quick, and I want to direct this question to Pascal, Kenneth. Let me see.
all of us.
Nah, I'm not. You are preached enough. You and Julia, you guys are preached enough. Motherfucker, you guys should hang up. Listen. But anyways, this goes to Pascal, Kenneth, Keso, Ella, and let me see here. Nicole, yeah, she's too quiet over there. Is good looking a major criteria for you in choosing a partner, or is it just a bonus?
Who started first?
Ooh.
Can you repeat the question?
Is good looking a major criteria for you in choosing a partner, or is it just a bonus?
All right, so I'm gonna start off.
Let the woman go first.
Who go? The women.
Is it going to go first?
Okay,
Ella, go ahead.
Well, when I see you, I don't see your personality. So what kind of a question is that? Is how I feel about it. Like, obviously, I need to look at you and be attracted to you before we even have a conversation. And then from that point, if your conversation is not something that appeals to me, then that's where I make my decision. But obviously, I have to see you first. And nobody's personality is written all over their face. So, yes.
Piggybacking on what you said, as you said, personality is not written on your face, right? So for me, physical attraction and the way you look, everything is very important to me. Like, if I'm not attracted to you, like, it's not going down, Like,
can you imagine fighting with somebody and then you say you're ugly?
And and it's the same thing for me. Like, the guy, he needs also to be attracted to me. Otherwise, like, no, there is no connection. Like, you're gonna be my friend, or you're gonna be just a guy that I met.
There you go.
Like, I have to be attracted to you. Like, I have to be like, damn, this dude is fine. Like.
But he has to know you feel that way for him to shoot a shot at you.
I don't like this question. You already answered that question.
Just saying.
Joshua, that's why my way works better.
You know, I know maybe I'm not making a lot of sense, but this is how it works in here. This is how it works in my brain. You know.
Kenneth, before
Yes,
we go
sir.
to Nicole, how you feel about that, bro?
I understand the question a little differently because I think it's a bonus if you're physically attracted to that person, then you come to find out that their character is very ugly. What are they now? Of course, they're still cute, handsome, beautiful, whatever, but then the inside is ugly. So I feel like the physical attraction is a bonus. Once you get to know the person, you wake up in the morning like, damn, my girl look good. And she's a good person. And then whereas or compared to the women that, you know, they fall for a guy that's kind of has a ugly character, but they didn't really notice that because they were so infatuated, and then they learned that later on. And once they're done with the guy, it's like next time they see him, they're like they're disgusted, regardless of how handsome he might be. So I feel like it's a plus. Once you know, of course, to touch back to what Ella said, of course you have to be physically attracted to somebody to even be interested enough to see what they're about. But once you know them and they don't have good character, their personality is trash. I mean, how much weight does their physical appearance hold? So it's a bonus. That's my take on this.
Kenneth for MVP.
Nicole, how you feel about that? The question, not what Kenneth said, but the question.
You muted.
Who, me?
Oh my gosh,
Can't hear you.
muted. Can't hear
No,
you.
no.
Oh man.
Muted.
No, we can. Wait, who can you not hear?
I can hear you.
No, it's Nicole that we can't hear.
Oh.
We still can hear her.
Can't hear you.
But she's not talking.
She's not
Anyway.
muted.
She's not
She
talking.
was before.
Talking.
She was before.
Pascal, go ahead while she's sorting out her technical.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah, let's go, Pascal.
I think the ladies are, you know, are really right. You know, I think, you know, when you see somebody, there's some type of affection. You might not know it, but you're not gonna go talk to somebody unless deep down you kind of like, you know, you feel like they're kind of attractive to you. You like them somehow, you know. Otherwise, you're lying to yourself again at the same time. There are people who, you know, they love the people because of what they have or who they are, what they've heard from them, you know. And once you start living with that person, that might change. You might be like, oh, or what they have disappear. They don't have it no more. You know, you start losing the affection on them. So it's always good before you talk to somebody, you kind of, you already, there's some type of affection already. So I feel, you know, there's no bonus. You should like somebody before even go talk to them.
So you're saying that the looks are major criteria?
Yes. Either you agree or not, deep down there's, you know, some type of affection. You like somebody.
Okay. You're so itching. Go ahead, my guy.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. No,
Hey, Joshua!
I think I have to put my hand up for this one, you know. No, but I think your looks, yes, might be the initial attraction, but it can easily make you the ugliest person on earth, depending on your personality and character.
Yes.
That's
Just
true.
off jump, because you'll see some bad shorty walk by. You shoot your shot, even entertains, and then you start hearing talking like you sound like a complete idiot. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want you in my vicinity. Please, like, move. But yet, there's that one that, you know, might have been like, you know, like a 6, and you're like, bro, like times are not that hard until you talk to him, until you talk to him. Kenneth, until you talk to him, and just the content of your conversation makes him way more attractive, and you just like blown away by the fact that you undermine this person or whatever it is.
Man,
It's just, so
Yo, Kenneth, it's like you know something we don't know.
No, I was just gonna say a six can turn into a 10 real quick, depending
exactly, bro.
a 6 can turn into a 10 real quick, depending on how she dressed, her personality, just the way she.
Right.
Yeah, a whole lot of very.
And a 10 can turn to a 3 real quick. But at the end of the day, though, I feel like good looking. You can't just put a blanket statement and say it's a major criteria. But you know, it is a criteria. It is a criteria.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it is a criteria. And sometimes you want to make sure also, you know, the don't rush challenge makes sense.
I feel like we've all been through that experience though, where we physically attracted to somebody, then you know, after 1 week, maybe just 1 week of speaking and conversing with them,
You like
start to fall back like, I don't know. I think we've all had that experience before. I feel like.
Yeah, of course.
I'm curious as to what Nicole thinks of this.
What'd you say, AK?
Nicole.
Oh,
I think the look is a bonus because, as Pascal said, I think definitely you're not gonna look at the person and feed yourself from it. You know, the personality is definitely important because good-looking guy, it's a plus. But then a guy with a personality, a guy with character, that makes a difference.
Well, let's add one more. Asia, what do you think? Because you look like you really have something to say about this.
Tell us.
I mean, I don't have much to say. For me, it's a bonus because, like most of you said, well, it's not like you can feed off like the beauty of that person or anything like that. It's just character, how the person, just character, and then, you know, I think character should be the most important quality in, you know, in like a person, and not the physical. So
since we're talking about character, we're talking about looks, and we talk about all that jazz, right? In answering this question, think about the looks, the character, all that stuff, put everything together. Who is paying the rent if you and your significant other move in together while dating?
Oh,
Keyword.
This one is spicy.
I want Kenneth to answer. That's Kenneth. I Kenneth answer this.
Wow,
My bank account.
You've been talking to me all night. All right, well, I'm gonna start.
Kenneth and Joshua. That's my guys.
Well, as far as dating, moving in together, if you guys have a mutual agreement that you guys are moving together, I feel like, you know, you have both parties to chip in. You know, it shouldn't be like one should hold majority of the weight, or even if that's the case, like I feel like one should be considerate enough to want to help out.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is a whole nother ballgame.
Thank you.
So we talking about just dating, and we mutually moving in together. I mean, she's not about to just sit there and watch me get everything, watch me pay everything. I'm not necessarily saying it has to be 50-50, but you know, if we both came up with the idea like, hey, we spend a lot of time together at each other's houses, you know, each other's space. So why not just get a space and share it together? And you know, after that point, you know, yeah, I'm sure y'all. At that point, you guys know that you both are financially stable enough to do that, take that next step. I just feel like it shouldn't. No one. The responsibility shouldn't be held on one person more than the other. Accountable, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here.
Please.
So if you can, why wouldn't you?
If you're in a position to take a woman in, by all means, go for it. You know, I'm not against that at all. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. No. You know, but if I'm understanding the question, there's levels to that. There's levels to that though. You know what I'm saying? Like you said though, if you're capable of doing so, if the man is just wants to court the woman, take care of the woman, in his mind, this is my queen. She doesn't have to do for anything or want for anything. My space.
She has to act like a queen too.
Huh?
You need to behave like a queen too, he said.
Yeah, of course, she has to behave like one. Of course, at that point, you know, you've already invested enough time and stuff to know that you.
When you start talking about behaving, man, that's a different history now.
Behaving is far.
Yeah, like I feel like you know, there should be a conversation just before you move in with your woman. You should know already, like, yo, by the time we move in, it should be like that. If you move in without having a conversation, then you're gonna start having a problem who's gonna pay or not. And even if one person is paying rent, another person is not paying rent, you know, how long do you think that person will pay for that rent? He's gonna get tired very soon, you know. So I feel like you know, even if you see your partner is paying rent all the time, like the good thing you should do if you have a job or if you don't have a job, you should do some type of something just to show them, even though he's paying rent, you're doing something else just to kind of lift yourself up, you know. And I believe, you know, relationship is not 50-50, it's 100-100, you know.
Nicole, I agree with that. Nicole, to nitpick on back to your question, you feel like that conversation is important? Nicole?
What? Sorry, can you repeat it?
No, I said to nitpick back to your questions that was addressed to me. Do you feel like that question, that conversation is important though? Because you said, what if he wants to do that? What if he's in that position to do that? Regardless if he's in that position, do you feel like that conversation is important to have? Because moving in with somebody is a big step. Like that's a whole nother step of its own. Because that's like I feel like those are like, that's the test to see if you can be with this person for a long period of time. So death do y'all part, or whatever the case may be.
Or not.
Or, you know, I mean, and honestly, that's the test, because sometimes you move in, I know, I would like to move in with, you know, my significant other before I even think about marriage. I would like to know.
That's where we disagree.
That's where, again, culture comes in, because every culture, like, is like, are you crazy? Like, some of them are gonna be like, oh, you don't do that until you are married. You only move in with your boyfriend or whatever until you are married.
Right, yeah, they're different, you know, there's certain cultures different, you know, that moving and stuff, yeah.
I think y'all should move in together before you get married, personal opinion.
I don't agree with that.
No,
I agree.
I don't agree with that one.
Different cultures, but the American reality is real.
Listen.
So who wants to move in before marriage?
Say that again? So
who wants to move in before marriage? Show of hand.
Moving before marriage?
Yeah, moving before marriage. Moving before marriage. I'm with that, Josh. I'm with that. So
I'll tell you this. My only thing is because you're gonna see a person's true colors and a person's the quirks you don't like. I don't care how much you want to say you love, with a blanket love statement. There's aspects of this person that you're gonna see that you by living with them, whether you like it or not. You're gonna find out if you're the person that hates people living dishes in the sink. You're only gonna find that out because you live with them. Because every time you want to come visit him, he cleans his kitchen doesn't mean he doesn't love living whatever. That's an example, you know. But there's gonna be aspects that you see that you're not gonna be okay with living with. Okay, there's gonna be conversations you're gonna have that by the time it's time for. I mean, I don't care if you want to live together and have separate rooms, sure. Because you don't believe in sex before marriage. Yeah, go about it that way. But
you know that's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna drop out of the MVP race and give it to Josh.
You know you're not gonna move.
I'm gonna drop out of the MVP race and give it to Josh.
No, I know it. No,
Josh, you know you're not gonna move in with your girlfriend and you guys gonna have separate rooms. Like, come on.
No. There's people to do it. No, there's no. My business partner did that. He got.
I don't believe in that. I don't think he's telling
Yeah,
you.
he was lying to you, bro.
No.
He was lying
I
to
watch
you.
you. Whether they're having sex or not, they still have their separate rooms. Okay. At the end of the day, because I guarantee you, just because your roommate doesn't mean you're gonna have sex. If you're gonna have sex before marriage, you're gonna have sex before marriage. Just because your roommate does not enhance it, my dear. There's men out here digging whatever else they want to dig, and they don't have. Yeah. So that does not. It doesn't change anything. The only thing is you're sharing the space. If this is a person you see yourself marrying, and if you don't move in with them before that, I guarantee you're gonna see colors after you said I do, and you're stuck for the rest of your life. And you're gonna
You work through the ups and downs. This is what marriage is.
But that's the thing.
You're not
There's
supposed
ups
to
and
give up.
Are you a
downs.
sacrificial lamb?
Ups and downs are cute. That's fine. But there's non-negotiables.
Oh.
There's non-negotiables that will pop up, and you will question yourself. Okay, I'll tell you, for example, for me, right? If my mother is coming into town, and my mother is coming to visit, my family's coming to visit, I'm hoping you're gonna take care of the household. And what I mean by that is you're gonna serve my mama the same way. If your parents are coming in, guess what? I'm gonna help out because you need to spend time with them. I will help out with that.
Yes.
But if you don't believe in that, I guarantee you, if you're not gonna do that, we're good. Just keep it pushing.
So why would you marry a girl that doesn't believe in that in the first place?
And that's what I'm telling you. You're gonna find that out when you live with her, because there's several of them that actually do not believe in that nonsense. They believe in, how about we both be equal? We all have whatever equality. But how about you pay rent? Idiot! What kind of nonsense is that?
Okay, so you believe that the man. Okay, so you believe that the man should pay all of the rent while you guys.
No, I don't believe in that. If we are dating, let's say a couple, they decide to move together, they are not married, I feel like it should be 50-50 because I'm not your responsibility. And, let's just share the bills. Everything should be 50-50 in the house. But when you go and you talk to my parents and you're like, this is the girl that I want, I expect you to take care of me the way my parents were taking care of me. Because as a king, I'm going to treat you as the king of the house. So as the king of the house, you should be able to protect me.
No, the thing is
I'm not saying you should pay the rent. If we are married, I'm not saying you should pay the full rent, but you're going to pay 80% of it.
So that title holds that much weight. That title holds that much weight where y'all just going to start living differently from before. Because if you propose to a woman that you've been dating and living with for let's say 4 years, what changes when y'all get married and y'all still living together?
This.
I mean, the ring, because she's your queen now, she's yours till death do us part.
I'm not your ex-girlfriend. I'm your wife. I'm your wife.
Right, but for richer or for poor, you're going to think and
I'm the most important thing in your life. I'm even more important than your parents.
I get that at that point, but you know what I'm saying? I'm also.
Hold on. You're more important than people's parents? At this point, are you crazy?
Okay.
No. She does have a.
When I say I'm more important than your parent, it's like.
She has a point with that.
I know what you mean.
Let's say if something happened to you, right, at the hospital, they're not gonna ask. They're not gonna be like, ask his parents if we need to give him this medication or not. They're gonna ask me.
Yeah,
because we are one. The thing that I'm doing with you,
Jesus Christ is Lord.
No, okay, so because it's like when you know how when someone gets married, the woman is always that question is who is the most important woman in your life now, and you're always looking around like is he your wife or is he your mom? So I understand your question, Queso.
I'm not comparing myself to your mom. Like your mom, you have your own relationship with your mom. Like I shouldn't even compare myself to her, but I'm saying like. You protect me. You are here to protect me, The way your parents were protecting you.
But we're still a team, though. We're still a team. We just united. And we said our vows.
You're paying 80% of the rent. What's up?
Huh?
You're paying 80% of the rent.
What if you're making 80% of the money? Then what, Queso?
Are you
You're
looking
still paying 80% of the rent.
Oh,
So wait.
And that's why I don't like to talk. I don't like to talk because my opinions are always.
I have a question. Are you looking to be someone's life partner or someone's dependent?
No, we're gonna be life. But listen, I'm gonna help you in other ways. I'm not saying you're gonna pay all the bills, but the rent, the mortgage, you're paying 80% of that. Maybe
Okay,
I'm
hold
gonna,
on.
I'm gonna be paying for the
If things-
food.
if
Maybe
things
I'm
go
gonna
south.
participate in the college fund of the kids.
If things are not to work out, do you also want 20% only, or do you want?
No,
50%?
if things are not gonna work out, hopefully it's not gonna get to that point because hopefully we can resolve the
I ain't gonna lie, I
situation.
mean, I get
But-
What if it does?
Okay, so I
But
understand
if
how
it-
you want, like us. Naturally, a man is supposed to be the alpha and is supposed to want to take care anyway. You know what I'm saying? As far as
But
like,
that's the problem, Kenneth. Is a lot of it needs to be something you want to
Let
do.
me answer his
My
question.
problem
What was your
comes in
question,
when-
Josh?
My problem comes in when it's like